Good evening. You're listening to the 9 o'clock Meltdown, showcasing favorite and up-and-coming local artists with a relaxed coffee house vibe, plus interviews, live studio performances, and more. It's all here on 91.3 KUWS Superior. Now, here's your host for the evening, Simply C.
Thanks, Forrest. I'm your host, Simply C, and I am in the studio here with Pushing Chain. Hello, gentlemen.
Howdy.
Hello there.
Hello. I'm here with Adam and Boyd, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their new CD that just came out. That's super exciting.
Very exciting.
You gonna tell her or what?
Well,
He's got his keys out, so he's trying to
delicately move these, and I want to make some eye contact with you.
Oh,
there
you
we go. See,
okay.
It's better that way.
It is.
Right?
It is. I thought you had your keys out because you were going to bolt for the
No.
door.
Yeah.
No. I was trying to move them so they didn't jangle.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh,
Like Adam just did. Yes, we are coming out with a self-titled Pushing Chain CD. We recorded, we started pre-production in January and then went in April, I think. Was that what it was?
yeah.
Yeah, April, May.
I remember Easter Day was one of the days. So.
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
And we took delivery on physical product a few weeks ago now, and our record label, Kingswood Records, has the official release date as Tuesday, August 19th. So then it'll be available on iTunes and CD Baby,
Various and
Amazon.
sundry others.
Yeah.
All right. Was that really a decision that you guys made to go on iTunes? I know it's kind of a big deal these days. It seems like everybody's up there.
You can't give it all away, but it's a lot of people just want the convenience of being able to just get online and find it.
Well, and
Right.
personally, I think that any of that money is sort of like pennies from heaven anyway, because we wouldn't have gotten that money anyway. We're not, most of the time when we're selling things, it's at a show. So
Right.
it's a convenience issue for some people, and for me, it's like we wouldn't. I don't know. Why would we be selling something to somebody in Florida or whatever? Might as well put it out there.
All right.
Exactly.
Sounds good. Was that really something you guys kind of had to debate about, was doing physical or doing digital?
No, because I feel, we're in our 40s and our demographic, both age-wise and kind of in the folk music, folk Americana land, like coming away from a show with something. We can pull the Sharpie out and sign it if they want it. And more so than the ubiquity of digital downloads now. I mean, it's part and parcel. You have to do it.
Right.
One of the things we did think about though was vinyl, and traveling. It's hard hauling vinyl around, and we have.
If any of the vinyl collectors out there have ever changed apartments, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's not happy.
And we're going to be flying to some gig. It's just not that convenient having vinyl. That said, perhaps in the future we may have a small limited release of vinyl. But the CD format, I don't know if anyone follows Bob Lefsetz's letters. He's got a huge blog, email, letter he sends out, but he's kind of a California retired record executive, and or an A&R guy or something. And he has a lot of followers, and he thinks CD's dead, but I am not so sure.
I don't think it'll die. I think it's definitely pittering out, kind of like radio has been
It
for the
is.
past several
Yes.
decades. But
Yep.
it's still here. I'm on the air. Something must be going
Exactly.
right. So,
Exactly.
well, theater's been dying for the past, hundreds of years. So,
Right.
Yep.
it's still around. People still go. So,
And hopefully live music isn't.
right.
It seems like there's a festival every weekend everywhere in every town these days. The festival thing's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of that years ago.
No?
You could count them on your yeah, I've been playing for professionally for 28 years, and it just wasn't like that before. You know, now even like in the Twin Cities, I was just talking with an old bandmate of mine this morning at breakfast with him. We were in the Twin Cities for a few days, and they're just all over the place down there. You know, Stone Arch and here and there, and
Every weekend.
every weekend,
Pretty much.
You know, and it wasn't like that years ago.
So has that whole kind of change in demographic changed your outlook on music, or even your approach?
Not for me. I personally think a good song written and well played and well performed is timeless, personally. And I go out to see that kind of thing when I can in other musicians and entertainers, and personally that's kind of what I aim for. There's always a bunch of jive stuff out there that people that can't play their instruments or their songs may be a little weak, but there's no accounting for taste now, is there?
My favorites are the ones who can't play their own songs.
Yeah.
I've seen that some.
Yeah, you know, and with the studio trickery, and auto-tuning and everything like that, I mean, you can get things pretty slick. We have a real vibey live feel on this album. We had old friend of mine, Tom Herbers, that did old band I was in, did a project with him at Paisley Park in 1990. I've known him for a while. And he's done a couple Jayhawks albums and Soul Asylum, and he does most of Lowe's stuff and Trampled by Turtles. And anyway, Tom works very straightforward and simply. He co-produced with us and engineered, and we have a real vibey feel. It's got a live room feel, and we used a newer system, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now. Clasp, right? So what it is you record a 2-inch tape, and then right before the erase head, it goes to Pro Tools, so you're able to do some punching in. Okay. But it's got a real analog sound and feel to it.
Yeah.
And there, even in the folk Americana land, there are a lot of real slick recordings, and we just wanted to go in. Our friends J.T. Bates on drums and his brother Chris Bates on upright bass, and so we went in and we just aimed for 4 fellas in a studio just making some music.
Well, a lot of our favorite records sort of follow that too. You know, you have, I don't know, like Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and I like all of those where you can hear people chatting before they play, and you know all those little bits and remnant sounds, and I get real happy when you hear like somebody cough on a record. It's like, hey, check that out.
Yeah. All right, well, I got your cough.
So did I cough?
You did.
I probably did.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I tend to cough on purpose just because I like that so much.
All right. So maybe there will be
It's a pause. Pregnant pause.
All right. Let's take a listen to the first song off of Pushing Chains' brand new album.
Like cloud shadows, shaking hands o'er the mountain tops, across the desert sand. in oceans deep, too dark to see. I'll love you more, I'll love you more. Oh, yes, yes, I love you more. Like every kiss and every smile, the longest walk on a country mile. In every wind, whispered or howled, I'll love you more, I'll love you more. Oh, yes, yes, I love you more. Like all the suns that ever set and rise to morning, infinite and yet forever nights you're not near. I'll love you more, I'll love you more. Oh, yes, oh, yes, I love you more. Like every word ever wrote, for all the songs of any note, love spelled out in oh so many ways. I love you more, I love you more. Oh, yes, yes, I love you more. Oh, yes, yes, I love you more.
And that was a song off of Pushing Chains' album. They're in the studio with me this afternoon. Hello yet again, gentlemen, and thank you for that wonderful song. And now you mentioned something a little earlier about it kind of having more of a live feel to it. Was that something that you really wanted to do? I mean, in the days of auto-tuning and perfectionism?
Yes,
Yes.
very much so.
Yeah.
That live feel, the live vibe. Really, I've always kind of thought you shouldn't really record better than you can play. And while we maybe did that a little bit on this album, it still has that feel of, it doesn't take away from what we would do live. It's a similar sound. And I think that's really important. As well as the fun aspect of, when you hear the people on an album doing things that sometimes are even a little silly. It humanizes the whole thing, I think, and it makes it a a nice
Right.
feel.
So is there any witty banter or anything in between songs?
Oh, there's a little bit. We kept a couple of count-ins that are, I don't know, I think JT does pretty funny count-ins.
He does.
They're really laid back, and I think they're funny. We have Chris swearing in German on there. That's fun. Just little bits here and there, but not nothing overpowering. Just a
Right.
little bit of a tape whoop at one point.
Yeah. Take up, 2-inch take up.
Yep. So, the sounds of the studio are in there, and I think that's important.
And it was a function of, we didn't have a ton of time nor money, so if you get in and step up to the mark and do it, but also it's, I feel recording a lot of times is a snapshot, almost like a high school senior class photo. That's what you look like.
Minus the mullets, perhaps.
Or the huge bug eye sunglasses?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to.
So that's what
terrible.
those songs sounded like at that time. That first track you played, which was the lead track, as you mentioned on the album, I'll Love You More, I had written that literally days before we went in studio, and taught it to everyone in the studio. A lot of these, of the 9 tracks, the other 8 we had played various amounts on stage.
Been playing for a few months at
Yeah,
least.
and there's one, the last track is a couple years old, I wrote that, but mostly it came in a group and in the last 18 months, I would suppose, something like that.
All right.
So,
Tell me a little bit about this recording process. It kind of seems like you got a good group of guys to kind of do the underlying stuff for you, and then you kind of
we got
float over the
we
top.
got Chris and JT Bates, brothers down in the Minneapolis area.
I don't know why the heck they want to play with us.
I don't
but
either.
They're,
Yeah.
they're first called jazz guys down there, and JT plays with, the Pines and Mason Jennings and Bon Iver, and on and on and on. But they also pretty much their first love is jazz, especially Chris Bates.
They're
and-
jazz cats.
and original jazz is as well. Chris Bates is a composer, and but
We went after after one of the studio sessions with them. We went and saw Chris play with one of his jazz groups down at the Ice House, and it was clear to us in about 2.5 minutes that he was playing at 3% of his 3% of his capabilities when he's playing what we're doing. So he's really something else. He's like a praying mantis back there. Just
they're both very chops heavy.
Yeah.
But they're such confident musicians that they are able to play simply if that's what the song calls for. They play the song, and their feel. JT is he's a master. He's a master with feel, and it's just real. It's a real pleasure to be able to play with them.
and the other thing about them is they can't help but care. I think that's sort of what you were saying
Exactly.
about them. They can't help but care for whatever it is that they're doing. They have
If
a
they're
lot
going
of
to sign on to a project, they dig in, and so it feels good as a musician. I guess I'll speak for Adam as well, to have people that we've been over the years got to play with some heavy cats, and it's nice when that happens. And we play with them live down in the Twin Cities. They're both based out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities. And but when we're on the road, we mostly play as a duo, and that's a function of economics and everything else. But it sure is fun having a rhythm section behind what we do.
Right.
It's fun. We can stretch out a little bit, and I can play less guitar, I guess, because I'm holding down rhythm, snare, mando kind of chop on a guitar, and I'm trying to do something a little bit melodic, and when you play with the rhythm section, you can just let it flow a little more.
I found in making this album, or do you call them that anymore? I don't know.
I
This-
do.
I'd call them albums. but-
Sure. In making this album, I found that it was a lot easier when you had a really strong rhythm section like those guys are.
Okay.
It was a lot easier to put a lot of a lot of air in the song.
Right.
There was a lot of the ability to put some space in between things and use some silence was there, which was odd considering there were two more instruments in the room. But
Right.
but there's just that flow is a little stronger.
Yeah.
It was nice.
And now it sounds like you guys have been a duet for quite a long time. Any thoughts of bringing on a bassist or a drummer?
Well, as I intimated earlier, it can be a function of economics. Live music and music on the road is hard enough, And a duo seems like you get the interplay of a couple people on stage, which is positive. And when you start getting into trio and quartet, it may, it depends the rooms that you would want to play as well, And we like house concerts and listening rooms. When you get into bars and you have to sell beer and drinks, then perhaps you need drums and bass more often. But yeah, as far as rental cars and hotel rooms, a duo is a lot easier than all of a sudden you get 4 or 5. And, I traveled around when I was younger, toured nationally, and we had, depending on the year, but mostly 6 or 7 musicians and a roadie LD, lighting director, and a sound person. And so that can get expensive real quickly. So
Sounds like it. Well, it seems
It
like
requires rehearsal too, which neither of us really likes to do that much.
Oh, okay.
we play an awful lot. We like to play, Adam and I have been playing together since 98, 99. We did a CD album project in 99. And we played for quite a bit. I live up in the Lutz and Grand Marais area, and Adam and his wife are living up there. Then Adam grew up there. And what year did you move to Chicago, you and Emily?
I don't know. It all runs together.
It does. So let's say in the early aughts, maybe 2002 or 3, Adam and his wife moved to Chicago for 10 years, and his parents still live up the shore. So he would come up. We'd get to play, depending on the year, 20 to 50 times a year together, because he'd come back often. And but now he's in Duluth, and we're hitting it a lot harder than we have in the past. For many years, I had a day job. I was self-employed business owner, contractor, and though we took it very seriously and we would play a lot, it was sort of like poker night and softball night and whatever else.
There were plenty of times you'd come to a gig having just brushed off after climbing out from underneath a house doing something.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
And
now you'll at least shower, which is
exactly.
important.
Well, that's a plus, isn't it? Yes. And we're probably going to be, this year, we're at probably 150 shows, and we need to be up in the 200, 225 a year. We like to play. I mean, for me, I love it. We're not much for, we have a show, we have the show coming up. We're just, and that's not to say we're cavalier about being on stage. You've seen us because you've mixed us live at the Grace. You're the house sound engineer there, as we know. And we have a relaxed feeling on stage because we're comfortable there.
There is a comfort level. And
nice.
it's sort of strange that comfort level has gone into stages of many different sizes. It's just always there, which is a good thing. I mean, I certainly never worry about. Sometimes I worry about being on time.
Right.
But yeah, once you're there, it's just like falling off a log.
Right. So we can play, big top Chautauqua stage, which we have, down to,
Last weekend at this time, we were sitting on a stage that was 3 feet deep and about 15 feet in the air with no railing
In Hayward,
in Hayward. Awesome.
at the Wine Cave.
Yeah, it was really funny.
It was. We've played on boats. We've played on islands. We've played here, there, and everywhere.
We've opened for puppets and
yeah.
and,
We're
and
just in
followed belly dancers.
Yeah. We were in Chicago a few weeks ago, and there was a children's circus. We played this Concert in the Park series in Ravenswood Manor in Chicago. And we followed a children's circus, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They all, it's fun when you get a chance to be on stage and play your songs for people. It's great.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Love it.
Do you think having a really comfortable sense of yourself and then kind of what the other person's doing, a good ebb and flow, is that key to having a really good stage performance? Or
I think it's key to making music as a duo. Try and imagine that the two of us are making music that sounds like more than two people. You got to try and kind of think as a band, even when it's just two people.
Right.
Which is, I think that we don't really have to communicate that very often anymore. It's just sort of there. There's like a ghost standing between us.
Hopefully 2 makes 3
Yeah.
is kind of the idea.
okay.
But, in some band dynamics are kind of an odd thing in a lot of cases. You can get some contentiousness and acrimony, and that can give things a little edge, and depends on the genre of music and what's going on.
Yeah, that can work, or it can work against you.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly. But usually we, the entertainment aspect of it, though, the songs are personal on a lot of levels. I think people, or what I would hope is people can there's a universality to it that people can connect to some way or another. If it's a song of heartbreak, which I seem to write a few of.
Well,
they
you
can
write what
say-
you know,
Yeah.
I guess.
I've been there, or if they're in a good relationship, I don't want to be there. So it works for both sides of the coin, right? Is what I'm hoping. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But, yeah.
It's also been funny, I think, to see on-stage personas develop as well.
Mhm.
That has sort of started to happen. He's sort of the
I'm a straight
sensitive.
man.
You're the sensitive galoot. Is that a word anymore?
No,
galoot.
just call me a big dumb Swede.
Yeah, and I'm sort of the. I'm not sure.
Comic. I'm the straight man.
I'm sort of the one who, isn't afraid to say things. I
Right.
guess is.
Well, one of the things as well in a duo is, though we have rapport and repartee between the two of us, you want to include the audience in on that, because then I've been in the audience watching people, and it seems like too much of an inside joke all the time, just between the performers on stage, and they're not drawing in the audience. So can't have too much of that, I personally think. So we're mostly just, affable fellows that like getting up and playing music, People can come in and have a drink or a coffee or whatever it is, and kind of unplug from their day and their life and listen to some music and forget about things.
We also don't use set lists, which is not terribly common, but sort of, that we don't use them, and I think that ends up being some conversation between us as well.
Right.
And then we'll, have little quick arguments about what song's going to be next and or whatever,
Well,
and
like
he'll make a final decision because he apparently thinks he's in charge. And
See, right, stuff like that, right there. You have it.
yeah.
All right. Well, Pushing Chain is in the studio with me this afternoon. Let's listen to another song off the album and get you guys some more water and maybe get some more coffee for me. We'll see what happens.
Great.
My mind's high memory like the page of a book. It's dog-eared woman, come and take a look. Little cabin in woods, barely room for a bed. I see it now, what should have been said. You know I'd say it now, what should have been said. I wanna go back, yeah, you know it's true. Take me back to when our love was new. Give me another chance, yes, baby, just one more time. Our legs entwined, the softest kisses and the curve of your spine. Was it winter or spring? I can't recall when the morning came. The reason seemed so small. When the morning came, the reason seemed so small. I wanna go back, yeah, you know it's true. Take me back to when our love was new. Give me another chance. Regrets spin in real time while the wisdom awaits with the notice sublime. Under beds over tea, choose a hiding place. I'm wishing and hoping for one more taste. I wanna go back, yeah, you know it's true. Take me back to when our love was new. Give me another chance, yeah, baby, just one more time. Happenstance, so a dream bereft. When I see you now, just like the day you left. So it's arm in arm, we'll go around again. Years of in between, yeah, the closing in. Years of in between, yeah, they're closing in. I wanna go back, yeah, you know it's true. Take me back to when our love was new. Give me another chance, yeah, baby, just one more time. I wanna go back, yeah, you know it's true. Take me back to when our love was new. Give me another chance, baby, baby, just one more time.
The wonderful folkness of Adam and Boyd from Pushing Chain. They're in the studio with me this afternoon.
Hi, everybody.
Feel free to drop in voices whenever you feel like
he
it.
will.
That's quite all right by me. Yes, beautiful folk music and kind of a folk duo. You guys went into the studio, pelted out an album. Sounded kind of rather quick too, from what you guys were saying. Did that? You compared it to a snapshot, a high school snapshot. So.
Yeah, we have songs written for the next one, and they're kind of out of order, not necessarily out of order, but I had a batch that I was going to do on a solo album a number of years ago, and about 3 years ago, and it wasn't feeling right, and I was moving in a different direction, but and they were kind of a grouping. It's a little more countrified thing. And so I think this on the next project, we're probably going to have some more instrumentation, some more ingredients, sweeteners, or whatever you want to call it. And I could have gone hog wild on this one as well. You know, this one calls for some pedal steel, and we hear some musical saw on this one. And but where do you stop? You know,
Right.
We wanted that first one to be, the self-titled one should be fairly, I don't know, close to what we sound like.
right?
You know, we're not going to ever be traveling with a B3 organ, so that I know of. I mean, I shouldn't say never,
Right.
but you never know, I guess.
It could happen.
It could happen, but you know, again, it is a when do you stop? And in these songs, it was okay to stop with 4 people.
Right, and also we decided not the CD album we did years ago. We just went in and pretty much knocked out our live show at the time, and just that we recorded, mixed, and mastered in 2 days with Rob.
One.
Yeah, one. Yeah, it was fast. And with this, we decided not to just go as a duo because we wanted a little more of a full sound with the rhythm section. And then, we have plans and designs for a live album, which would probably be more of just the duo
Okay.
in the next year or so. And so this seemed like a good little mix, between duo and
Good start.
yeah, full band
Well,
situation.
it definitely sounds wonderful. You can
Thank
hear
you.
everything. Everything got a really good balance. In that last song, though, I did hear a little bit of the kind of jazz influence pulling through just a little bit. So
Yeah.
Well, folk music can get kind of like it can sound sort of like folk music sometimes, and I think it's important. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll get there.
Right.
Stick with me. I
Okay.
think it's important. I really like the idea of having the jazz cats playing drums and bass, because while they are going to play straight, and they're not going to ever play squared off. So they're going to add that little extra flavor that gives it more of that sort of rounded edged push pull feel, and I think that's important. I want music that you can kind of move your neck to occasionally, and you don't get that all the time when it's just, sort of navel gazing. if that's not too harsh, but you don't get that when it's just, a guitar and a guy singing very often.
Right.
So you get that little bit of jazzy business in there, and it's nice.
right.
Yeah, I use the alliteration of head, heart, and hips. A lot of music is just head music, very cerebral, and you're thinking that listening to the lyric or the words, and it doesn't make your hips move, and it may not even tug on your heartstrings. So as a songwriter, it doesn't happen with every song, certainly not, but what I aim to do is have that head, heart, and hips thing, try to make fire on all three.
The thinking
areas.
man's rumba.
Yeah, exactly. Which is not that, easy to do. And there are some, I like music that you just want to get out and shake a tail feather to,
Right.
Certainly, that's got its place. But that was, once again, having the rhythm section, it gets a little bit more movement in there. And not that these are dance tracks at all, but,
Well, I dance, but
yeah, there you
I
go,
guess
extended
that's just me.
mix, right?
That's right.
So,
Now, how does the guitar and fiddle, I mean, obviously they're in the string family, yada yada, I could go on, but kind of how does that all work with just the two of you? I mean, Boyd, you said kind of you're holding down the big kind of meat of the song, and Adam, you're kind of over the top of that with some glaze or something.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
yeah.
Well said. Well, let's see. When I've tried playing with other people in the past, the rhythm guitar has always been a problem, because to me it's never there's something between Boyd and myself where we seem to have the same feeling about where the rhythm on a song should go, Not all the way through the song necessarily, but up to a point. Like we'll draw something out without talking about it. It's just the way that we seem to hear things. And I always had trouble when I play with other people because like a rhythm guitarist will be just right on the beat or right, more like a drummer or whatever. So together we've got that push-pull with rhythm and all that other stuff that seems to work pretty well. I try and stay out of the way as much as I can when he's singing, but that doesn't mean that I don't play when he's singing.
Yeah, it's punctuation.
Yeah, I
Pops
try and
in
punctuate, but I also try and harmonize, with the violin.
Adam is a master at vocal harmony.
Oh yes.
And I like to sing harmony. Yeah, I spent hours and hours and hours as a teenager with the Sounds of Silence album, just looking for various third-part harmonies I could do with Simon and Garfunkel, trying to find where they weave in. So that gets me in trouble also with other people because they'll have, like, if they're doing a 3-part harmony, they'll have definite bass part and tenor part, and then they want somebody to be in the middle. But I like to jump all over the place.
Right.
So I'll and even together there are times when I'll start singing harmony under him, lower than him, and end the phrase singing harmony above him, so that it's almost like who used to do. I think the Louvin brothers used to do that quite a bit, where they would switch in the middle, and change it up that way.
Or one of us will take the melody and a chorus, and the other will come to a harmony, and we don't even really think about it, or Adam doesn't. I have to think about it because I'm not as good as he is. But we just try to sing like brothers from another mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So that phrase will be on the next album, right?
Yeah,
Probably
exactly. Sister from another mister.
Jeez.
All right. Next album, guys.
Yeah. But it's one could say your one style is defined by what you don't know, not by what you know. And that's the way I look at things. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there that I can't do. So we sound like what we do because that's all we can do.
That's exactly right.
I mean, one of my main guitar influences was a fellow named Bob Weir, who was the second rhythm guitar for the Grateful Dead. And I saw that band 80 sometimes when I was a kid, through high school. And Bob Weir's not playing. He's almost pianistic in some ways, but then also I like a lot of bluegrass, alternating bass things. So in the midst of a song, I'll kind of pop between different things, and I play a little bit of mandolin as well. And so a lot of times I'll have like that mando chop, which is almost like the snare in a bluegrass band, you know? And so I'll pop into that sometimes. And so I'm kind of all stylistically all over the place. And I like dropping beats. After we're done playing, you look at the floor and it's just full of drop beats.
I've often said also that there have been times, certain gigs, where Boyd has been more of a drummer than a guitar player.
Right.
That's very percussive. He calls it ham-fisted, but I call it, driving.
Right.
And there are times when that's been important, too.
Yeah.
All right. So now you guys said something about your album. I mean, obviously, I have a physical copy here in my hand. I'm petting it, making everyone jealous. It's coming out on the 19th. Now, that's a Tuesday. Now, you mentioned something about maybe having it hit some stores. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, our label will be Kingswood Records is going to have some physical distribution, and regionally I think it's going to be in the Electric Fetus store, so probably in Duluth here, hopefully, and then definitely down the Twin Cities, and maybe some more indie stores in the Twin Cities as well. And then depending on markets in which we play, we could have some physical copies there, but we're always selling them at our shows.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Well, and it'll be digitally and physically available online.
Right.
Part of the distribution is through Amazon and
Right.
various other physical distributors, so
iTunes.
that's there too.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So people can find the album at the Electric Fetus, your shows, of course, and then they can also get it autographed and then up on Amazon and
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
iTunes as well. So you're
Yep.
kind of hitting the market just kind of blanket.
That's what
We're too
trying
old to
do.
mess around.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And now if somebody wants to get a hold of you to either congratulate you on a show or even book a show, how can they do that?
You can find us online at www.pushingchain.com.
Don't drop that G.
Pushingchain.com. We're on Facebook. You can search for us there under Pushing Chain. Those are probably the best ways.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Can you think of any others?
Some kind of passenger pigeon or something
Yeah.
up the North Shore. Or
Telepathy?
Or look for us if
Okay.
you're up in the Lutz and Grand Marais area, because that's my home base. Adam comes up to play there often, so we're usually a weekend or two a month. We're playing up there, and then we're out and about the other couple of weekends of the month. So
Okay. And now Lutzen actually has a really great stage in their little ski
yeah,
area
Pump
there.
Charlie's. We've been playing there for a long time, since
Since-
99 or 98. I
Yeah.
bet. Yeah.
We
And
used to do the après ski there every weekend.
yeah, every weekend for a couple of years, we do 14 weekends in a row. And now Jim Vick, he's really made a good music scene up there, a mix between national acts, regional acts, and local acts. And I have hosted an open mic there in the winter on Tuesday nights for 5-6 years now, and when I'm around, I'll also host songwriter night on Mondays in the winters, and we play there. Oh, forgot about that.
Dang it.
And then we are having a CD release show as well down in the Twin Cities on Friday, the 17th of October. At
Okay.
the Ice House down on East Street, 2500 block of Nicollet Avenue.
That'll be fun.
And
Chris and
that-
JT are going to be with us, and hopefully we'll be having a nice opening act and fill the room up and have a party.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. And now I take it that your tour dates and things like that are up on your website or
Yes,
your
they are.
Absolutely.
Facebook
I
page
stay
as
on
well.
top of that
All right.
very, very strongly.
All right.
We have a second Monday of the month residency at the Amazing Grace Cafe, Canal Park in Duluth for the Twin Ports listeners. And then we've played most of the other gin joints around here as well. But we like the Grace. It's nice.
It is. It is a pretty decent spot.
Yeah.
That's my shameless plug for the Grace.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in the studio
Thank you
Thanks
and
for having us.
We
It's a
appreciate
good
it.
time.
telling us about your music and your new album, which, yes, I have a physical copy. You can get yours August 19th, Amazon, iTunes. Well, iTunes wouldn't give you a physical copy.
No,
Well,
they
maybe
won't.
for your ears, but yeah. And then, yes, find these guys, hit them up, and see what they're all about. So, thank you very much. I was your host, Simply C. You're listening to 91.3 KUWS right here in the wonderful town of Superior.
Like the shake of a rattlesnake is always closer than you know. I'm not one to come undone, but I was knocked down row by row. I was sinking down, and you saved me. My broken oars and scuttled bow, I caught a line you threw to me. nevermore was in our past. I was sinking down, I was sinking down. Dim light falls as a wagon hauls the bones up to your door, and you'll know how to see me now under rug swept from my floor. I was sinking down, and you saved me. My broken oars and scuttled bow, I caught a line you threw to me. Nevermore was in our path. I was sinking down, I was sinking down. Oh, those monkey bars and swinging stars are just playgrounds full of fears. No static sounds as we laze around, watching moments turn to years. I was sinking down, and you saved me. My broken oars and scuttled bow, I caught a line you threw to me. Nevermore was in our path. I was sinking down, I was sinking down. I was sinking down.